The Warriors bounced back from a 2-game skid against an injury-depleted Pelicans team, but things did not look great in the first half. With Steph struggling through an inefficient night, Jimmy Butler took over in the second half, scoring 13 of his 18 points, recording all 4 assists, and drawing key loose ball fouls to help rally the Dubs from a deficit to a must-win. I want to break down how he got elite positioning to create buckets, so let's get to it. There should have been no excuse trailing to these tanking Pelicans. After watching Jimmy for a good amount this season, we know he wants to set up his teammates more than look for his own shots. Even on a mismatch here, you pretty much know Butler will take a smaller defender in the post and dribble to the middle of the paint. Olynyk rotates to help as the weak side low man, with Missy also helping off a non-shooter. Bruce Brown is now responsible for the 2 weak side Warriors, but the goal 95% of the time here is to draw the natural instincts of the defense to crash and help. Jimmy loves to power dribble and gather, either into a jump stop or not, but he often jumps up in the air with zero intention to shoot the ball. He waits to see whether Brown is sinking down low or staying up high, and here he makes a simple read and kick out to the more open pods. In rhythm catch and shoot 3 by Pajensky. I've been highly impressed by Butler's ability to find Steph wide open on these simple basketball plays. With Curry short on the three-pointer, Moody does a great job of crashing the offensive board when he does not get boxed out. He's able to tip it to Jimmy, who almost always has the high basketball IQ, and makes a simple read with a shove pass to Steph, who relocates behind the arc. You know he's not going to miss 2 of these in a row, and the Dubs finally have the lead. One thing Jimmy does a great job of is running down the court on either a fast break or a defensive stop to get good position close to the basket. The goal is to get a mismatch down low without having the defense set. With Draymond running a semi-fast break, you can tell Steph is pointing at someone to go to the corner. Defenses are wired to stop Curry at all costs on fast breaks, so the Pelicans call a switch when Hawkins gets Curry and tells Bruce Brown to get the other Warrior outside the picture. However, the second Brown turns his head back to the ball, Green already knows Butler will be the player sitting down low right near the rim, waiting for the pass. Generally, Butler knows he is strong enough to handle a mismatch, but this is also a tremendous skill to be a target for a lob pass. Only Draymond can pinpoint this, and the Warriors get another easy basket before the defense sets. Jimmy Butler was all over the court in the second half. Here's a defensive highlight. With Alvarado getting a step on Pods, the Dubs miscommunicate here, with Pods and Moody forgetting who gets who. Steph is caught ball watching, but you can rely on Butler to be in perfect defensive position and help off a non-shooter and save the day. Jimmy is able to predict both the weak side kick out while watching and playing the passing lane in the paint here and pick off the pass. This is elite defensive awareness, and he's able to run on 2-on-1 fast break with Steph Curry. Not exactly sure what Hawkins was trying to do here, but Curry throws a lackadaisical alley-oop back to Jimmy for the finger roll. The Warriors also love running these off-ball actions for shooters trying to catch the defense sleeping. I was unfortunately unable to get the whole video here, but this is a classic Golden State action in which a shooter and Buddy Hield was set a back screen on the cutter with the goal of testing out the defensive coverage. Buddy had set one from Draymond and is about to run off a second pick by Quentin Post to try to find an open 3. New Orleans initially miscommunicates here by failing the switch and having both guys chase Buddy, leaving the cutter and Draymond Green right underneath the rim by himself. Butler makes the right read once again, and Green gets the uncontested layup. I mentioned Jimmy's elite ability to see mismatches and get great positioning in the paint, either on the fast break or half-court offense. Butler sees that he has a young, inexperienced player in Reeves guarding him and is already looking for the post-entry pass. When Buddy has the ball, the Pelicans are trying to front Butler, with the weak side low man ready to help off a non-shooter. Risky pass here by Buddy, but with these entry passes, Jimmy Butler always does a great job of using his hands and shoving his man at the same time the pass gets released, creating much more space and then using his athleticism to catch a double team behind the defense. Draymond does not settle for a 3 and cuts to the basket, and Butler gets the easy assist. Here's another breakdown of Jimmy Butler beating the defense early in the fast break. The Pelicans run a DHO to Olynyk and the Dubs switch, but they're fine with him taking a good 3-point shot because he shoots in low attempts. I thought this was hilarious because Alvarado has his hands up like, why did we just chuck that up with 8 seconds left on the shot clock? And the second Draymond grabs the defensive board, Jimmy Butler's looking to sprint down the other side of the floor. There's no one better at starting the break and making this type of pass than Green, who's able to see Butler get behind the defense. Butler's the type of player who seeks contact. I don't really call this foul baiting, but more like he's predicting the foul before going out for the shot, allowing him to have a good look at the rim and convert, and then predicting and accentuating the contact for the and one play. This is just genius. With New Orleans still within striking distance, there were a couple key plays down the stretch in which Butler was able to draw foul calls for free throws to ice the game. Green does not settle for the 3 and drives on Olynyk, who's in the drop coverage. Elfrid Payton makes the brutal mistake of turning his head away from Steph Curry on an off-ball action, giving Guy Santos the opportunity to send an exit screen to free up Steph. This is a classic Warriors offensive action, and Curry gets an amazing look from the left corner. On the weak side block, Jimmy Butler is using his size and strength to go around Bruce Brown and establish complete inside positioning. So on this in and out miss, he's able to accentuate the contact again and get the benefit of doubt solely due to his positioning. Big loose ball foul call, and he ends up going to the line. One main way to stop an opposing run late in the game is to get to the free throw line and quell the potential momentum. On a Pajensky drive, Bruce Brown helps off a strong side with Jimmy, who's a non-shooter. Kick out to Butler, and Brown remains in the drop coverage with his hands down, encouraging the shot. I find it funny how defenders would want him shooting, but Jimmy would take his time, then still shot fake, and defenders would still bite on it. This allows Butler dribble penetration right into the middle of the paint, where he always plays at his own pace. Olynyk comes to rotate as the weak side low man, and Butler unsurprisingly goes for the jump stop and try to find his teammates. Olynyk slightly bites on this jump stop and comes forward, eliminating his legal defensive stance, and trips Jimmy for another terrible foul. Great ability to get to his spots and draw more free throws. There you guys have it. It was not pretty at all against the Pelicans team missing 4 of their 5 starters, but I'm not going to complain. A win is a win. Still, this was not a convincing performance even with Steph back in the lineup. Something is clearly slowing the Warriors down, and with crucial games ahead for playoff seeding, that's a concern. Jimmy Butler started off passive in the first half, but he turned it on the second, getting more aggressive, hunting easy baskets, finding wide open teammates, and drawing fouls to ice the game from the line. He uses his strength and footwork to establish elite positioning around the rim, consistently creating high-quality shot opportunities. This was another breakdown highlighting his high basketball IQ and the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet, but are fundamental to what makes him a superstar. These are must-win games against tanking teams, and we've got another one coming up against the Spurs. If you guys like this breakdown, like and subscribe to see more.